Hi viewers, this is Nisma Ameer with another episode of our amazing program Meet the CEO, जिसका मकसद है पाकिस्तान के कामयाब तरीन CEOs को डिस्कवर करना और आपसे मिलवाना, so that you can learn from their success and the struggles behind their journey. Today we're going to meet Mr. Sarwar Khan, CEO of IG Square Pakistan. He has made monumental contributions in the world of advertising and media buying and is a prominent part of the industry since the last 20 years. Hello and welcome to our show. It's a pleasure that you're here with us. For starters, I would want you to tell us about yourself. कैसे आपकी professional life शुरू हुई, कैसे journey का आगाज हुआ? Just a bit about that.
We basically take care of our clients' media investments.
Yeah.
In layman's terms, we are a media buying house.
Okay.
Journey started way back in 1999.
Okay.
So I did my MBA from IB Karachi, which was 98. But then nuclear detonations happened, so there was hiring freeze everywhere. I did my MBA in banking and finance at that time. But luckily I got into advertising. So I started off with, which then was our Linters. Now it's Lou and Rove, the advertising agency.
Definitely.
But back then it was called our Linters. So I started off as a media planner back then. So this was, still vividly remember, I think February 99, which was the first day. So I stayed with them, I think, for 5 years. Those were early days of media. Nobody knew about media planning at that time. We had fewer channels. And the whole media scene was picking up. So I was lucky enough to get into advertising and media at that time. Worked on some of the best clients. We set up a media department in Lahore. So my first day was in Karachi, but then I moved to Lahore and we set up the media department here. Stayed there for good 4.5, 5 years. And then mid of 2004, I moved back to Karachi, joined Mindshare, which is the largest media buying house in the country. Still is. And I was looking after their corporate business, which is the non-Unilever part of the business. It was amazing. Met really good friends over there, worked on some of the biggest businesses in Pakistan. And in later half of 2005, we set up Maxis, which is back then was a conflict shop for Mindshare. We pitched for Nestle business, we got the business. And I moved back to Lahore.
Lots of moving
to
here
set up Maxis. And then I stayed with Maxis for good 14-15 years.
Wow.
So it was a great experience. We made Maxis into one of the largest media buying houses in the country. We were managing businesses like Nestle, Youfone, there were quite a few others. And then in 2020, later half, around September, because the world was changing, and I thought, look, let's do something different and crazy. So I left Group M and we set up IG Square, which now we call an evolved media agency, media management agency.
So before we discuss IG Square in detail, I just wanted to know that given that you had done MBA, तो उसमें एकदम ये transition जो है advertising or media buying, how did you find the knack for that? Like, was it passion driven or you were just foresighted? What do you think?
I think it was all accidental because I studied banking and finance.
Pretty opposite, like it's poles. These are poles apart.
Exactly. I was good with numbers though, but I never wanted to take have banking as a profession. But it just so happened that in '98 we had those nuclear detonations and there was hiring. So no bank was hiring. So for about a year I did nothing. Did odd jobs, did some consultancy, but I didn't get any job as such. Luckily, my friend Umar Ghuman, he's with Samsung now. He was with the Arlingtons at that time.
IG Square के बारे में मज़ीद बात करते हैं,
Sure.
Which is your current and latest venture. तो exactly क्या services हैं जो आप provide करते हैं, and maybe like explain it in like little layman's terms so that our masses can also understand the whole concept.
So IG Square, for our friends in advertising and media, it's a media buying house.
Yeah.
Just like the Mindshares of the world and the MediaComs of the world, Starcoms of the world. So we are also a media buying house.
Okay.
So we plan and buy traditional media and digital media. So when you see an ad on TV, some agency is buying that space for their clients.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where media agencies come in.
Okay.
So be it traditional media, which is print, TV, radio, outdoor, or digital media for that matter. So we do all of that. Obviously, there are different kinds of campaigns. When you talk of digital, you have awareness campaigns, which in our language we call the top funnel campaigns, and then there are some conversion campaigns. So depending on the requirement and the brief, we make those media plans, and obviously the idea is to be as efficient as possible.
So majorly you guys are into media buying, and then you're also handling digital content for certain brands and clients, right?
So we do content also.
Okay.
We work on data. We have a technology vertical because we believe that these are the three things going to define the future for media, not just in Pakistan but globally also. We are in talks with one of the largest marketing services group in the world. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll sign the contract with them, and then we'll become their local affiliates in Pakistan.
And then you will reveal the name.
Yes. So through that affiliation we'll get access to a lot of other global businesses in Pakistan. So yeah.
अच्छा, पाकिस्तान की जब हम बात करते हैं, we've all seen the evolution of social media over the past few years. पाकिस्तान में अभी भी चीज़ें नई हैं, लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा अवेयरनेस आ गई है, चीज़ें बदल रही हैं. आपके नज़रिए से क्या आपको लगता है स्कोप है पाकिस्तान में ई कॉमर्स का, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग का, या कितना अभी कह लें अनटैप्ड एरिया है जो नहीं टैप हुआ? What do you think the potential?
Massive. I mean, अगर आप सिर्फ SME सेक्टर को देख लें तो almost 40 to 45% of our GDP SME सेक्टर contribute करता है, right? और ये वो businesses हैं जिनको access नहीं है to your mainstream media, and the first thing that they do now is to set up their Facebook page, or a WhatsApp group, right? और अगर इनमें से कोई ऐसे थोड़े से और ज़्यादा adventurous हैं, they'll develop a website for their business, right? And that's how they start promoting their products. Back in the day it was कि जी आप उस मार्केट की एक होर्डिंग ले लें, या जो एक रीजनल न्यूज़पेपर है उस पे they used to put up their ad. Now the first mode of communication for these smaller businesses is digital, because it's very convenient, anybody can do that.
I think the affordability can be customized according to their resources. So
in Pakistan, massive, and we're a large country, over 220 million population. We're a young country, demographically speaking, average age 21-22 साल. So it's a gold mine. It's just that you need to come up with the right recipe, right? It may look a bit chaotic from outside, but once you're there are a lot of opportunities.
अच्छा, जब आपने सोचा, when you thought of taking this plunge and starting something of your own, तो definitely बहुत से different challenges face किए होंगे. Because when you're working for an organization, it's pretty different, and then you're starting something of your own, it's a complete different journey. तो क्या वो ऐसे कोई monumental challenges हों जो आपने face किए, और उनको कैसे, how did you deal with them?
I think there are two sets of challenges. एक तो ये है कि पहले तो आपको अपने आप को convince करना पड़ता है कि you're taking the right decision. Right? I think that's the most difficult bit, right? So I think the first bit was convincing yourself. GroupM obviously was a big organization. I was heading the setup, and leaving that and setting up something new, middle of COVID. I had started so I'm enrolled in Oxford University as well. I'm doing my MBA program. So back then I had started my program as well. So a lot was going on. So in the midst of all of that, and media is a very competitive field. It's not easy, right? Nobody would give you an inch.
Definitely.
So I think the first challenge was to convince yourself and the belief that you have in what you're trying to do. The rest of, once you have sorted that, I think the rest of the journey is not that difficult because as you know, as a media professional, I've been in the industry for 20 odd years. So we got a lot of support from media, a lot of support from our clients. So from day one, we had clients who were willing to come on board. So September 2020, we set up the new company, and same month we had, I think, 2 clients that came on board. Same
so
month.
Any particular clients that you would want to share, or any prominent campaigns that you guys worked on?
So our first, I think, couple of clients were MG.
Wow.
The automobile was the first client, and then Mughal Steel. So we did their campaign in September 2020. So these were the 2 first clients. Showed a lot of faith in us.
Definitely.
And then obviously, you know, every month we were adding business. So today we are, mashallah, I think 30 clients strong.
Wow.
So within a year.
I think that's a great number, given that it's been a year. But then again, I think it's your trail that's also following.
I think it's the team.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with a great team.
Yeah.
You know, जो हमारी account management की team है. My partner Adnan, who sits in Karachi, he's also ex-Group M, so he was our CFO for good 8 years. So he came on board, and alhamdulillah, the rest of the team members, they've done an amazing job. So,
Super.
So I think if somebody asks me the recipe of success, I think it's about your belief in the, you know, in the purpose that you're trying to achieve, and then obviously the team, because you can't do it alone.
Definitely.
And you know, if I look back, I'm really blessed with the kind of people that I had, the team that I had, and I think they've been splendid.
As given that you just mentioned earlier that media ki industry mein competition is always very lethal.
Yeah.
So उस लिहाज से how do you deal with competition, especially जब से ये कि digital surge आया है, we've been seeing agencies and media buying houses. तो उस competition को how do you deal with it, and how do you stay ahead of the game?
I think competition. I think I think we need to define competition. But what competition are you referring to? अगर आप ये कह रहे हो कि ये competition with other media buying houses, so I think जो पहले हम discussion कर रहे थे कि you need to know what you stand for, right? What IG Square is bringing to the table, which others are not. You know, myself and the team, we were very clear कि हमने एक और lookalike Group M setup नहीं बनाना है, right? We wanted to have our own identity. Right? And the question was, how can we do that? It's easier said than done. But obviously, when we had those conversations with our clients that, okay, fine, you have a certain problem, a certain challenge that you're facing, how can we help you go beyond a simple media plan? How can we help you with your objectives, right? As a media partner, how can we play our role more effectively? So we obviously started having those discussions, and one thing led to another, and we came to a point where our clients also understand, look, this is the value that these guys are offering, and it worked. And now, mashallah, a year down the road, we have over 30 clients, mashallah, and things are looking
great.
All right.
Sahi. Achha, mujhe bataएं कि what is your opinion? Is digital media or digital marketing, is it kind of taking over the traditional mediums of marketing, or do you think they're going to keep on, they're going to go hand in hand? What is your take on that entire situation? Look,
at the end of the day, it's all about content. If you talk of YouTube or TikTok or Netflix, Amazon, and all of that, they're just platforms, right? People put content on these platforms. So it's a battle of whoever has the best content and the experience that they're providing, right? Why is Netflix so popular? Because they have an amazing content. As I was telling you earlier, this year they'll be spending close to $17 billion on content in 1 year. A couple of years back in 2018, I think they spent close to 10 odd billion.
Achha.
So in just a couple of years, from 10 odd billion to 17 odd billion. And numbers are growing. I mean, they're just, subscribers are just going through the roof. And then obviously they're offering you an advertising free environment, right? And as a consumer, as a viewer, you have access to that content, with for a couple of thousand rupees, right? And you can watch it at your own leisure, download the thing, and with multiple accounts. So it's about that experience. and the quality of the content, right? And be it your traditional, TV channels or FM or print or whatever, I think the whole idea is okay, now you're competing with everybody. You're competing with the likes of Netflix, and you need to evaluate your content.
Yeah.
How good or bad is it, right?
Yeah.
Do your research, identify new opportunities, identify new genres of content. So yeah, I mean, if you have a good content and if you offering a good seamless experience, people will watch it. Otherwise, it's a losing battle for your traditional media outfits.
Definitely.
Unfortunately.
Definitely. Welcome back to our show. Acha, given that you're an expert in this field के लिए, industry के लिए, तो जब आपके, in your opinion, when a brand is starting off, or maybe let's say an existing brand, what are those main elements that are very important when it comes to your digital presence or your digital marketing? वो ऐसे कोई 3-4 elements जो आपका ख्याल है ज़रूरी होते हैं ताकि आपकी एक unique selling point हो, या आप you can grab attention out of the crowd of brands?
Yeah, I think everything starts with the product. Is there a need for that product, or you're creating that demand for the product, and then obviously who you are trying to sell that product to. Are they aware of this product or not? And then obviously the pricing, the distribution, all of these things matter, right? As a media agency, our role comes right at the end, right?
Okay.
When you want to create that awareness for your brand, for your consumers, and there again, obviously, there are different objectives. Is it awareness that you're looking for? Is it top of mind awareness? You're trying to build consideration for your brand. You want to generate some trial. So the idea is to sit down with your client, look at the situation, look at the brand, identify
where they're standing and what
exactly,
they require,
and then you come up with the right solution. So there is no silver bullet, there is no winning formula.
True.
It's a lot of to and fro, sitting down with your clients and coming up with the right combination.
अच्छा, आपके ख्याल से जो हमारा एक educational system है, especially जो undergrad और उसके आगे जो degrees हैं, do you think that it's higher time that there should be inculcation of curriculum or degrees which are specifically targeting this industry जो अभी boom की है? अगर एक young बच्चा है जो चाहता है आगे कि मैं social media या digital में अपना career pursue करूँ, तो उसके लिहाज से do you think that we're still lacking and we need particular degrees and curriculum to do that?
अब तो I think काफ़ी हालात बेहतर हो गए हैं. Back in the day, whenever we used to hire people, fresh grads, so it was mostly on the job training because they would have no knowledge of what media planning is or what digital planning is and all that. But now I think so a lot of professionals are now going and teaching in these universities. अब जो हमारे new recruits आते हैं या जो हम नए लोग hire करते हैं, they have a fairly good understanding of what media planning is all about, what digital planning is all about. They would have done their Google certifications. And, so yes, I mean the quality of resource. If I compare it with, say, 5 years back or 10 years back, obviously it's much better. But then, since the industry is evolving so much, I think there has to be a link between the industry and the academia. Right?
Also, I think this particular industry is evolving every other time span. Keeps on evolving, where you need to keep on getting certifications or courses to keep you on top of your game.
Absolutely. So I think that's the key. So the need is to have more sort of a link between the academia, the institution, and the industry professionals, right? So that they go there, they talk about what are the new trends, what's happening, and discuss real life case studies. I think that is very important.
Very monumental.
What was the issue? What was the problem? How did they solve it?
And also, I feel that we need to incorporate more region-specific case studies, which are, you know, resonating with our TG, like our target audiences and our, you know, demographics and stuff. So I think that is one thing that I, as a student, when I was doing my master's in advertising PR, I thought that, you know, we kept on doing the international case studies.
So India's done a great job. And in Oxford, they're teaching, you know, obviously the whole system is around discussing case studies, and there are a lot of cases that come from India. Right. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any coming from Pakistan. Right? And I think our local businesses have done an amazing job, and there are a lot of amazing stories that can be shared and discussed. So I think, I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done, especially in the academia side of the things, and how closely, you know, industry professionals can work with the universities and education institution. I think that will definitely help.
So how does one day at work looks for you? Like, given that you have this venture which is just a year old, then with 30 plus, you know, clients, तो एक जो आपका दिन है professionally वो किस तरह से गुजरता है, और leadership style या management style आपका किस तरह का है?
So mostly on the phone, because yes, I mean, especially so we have two offices, one in Lahore, one in Karachi.
Okay.
So I mean, there are a lot of meetings that we do internally. Obviously, you know, status reports and knowing what the new briefs are, and you know, when the new campaigns are coming. So there's a lot of internal discussions. We have different departments. You know, we have, you know, people who are working on the media plans and the buying side, the billing side. The digital team is also there. So whenever there's a brief, we all, you know, come together, have a discussion. You know, come up with our recommendations, go to the client, present those, and then there's a whole process of doing the post-analysis.
Acha, when things are going your way, for example, you started it a year back and now you have 30 plus companies or clients that are with you, so does it happen that sometimes the success kind of goes to your head? And if it does, then how do you keep yourself motivated, or you think, nahi, abhi bhi I have to keep on going? वो thought process कैसे लेके आते हैं?
नहीं, अभी तो it's just a start. And I think the whole idea is to stay grounded, and try to do, you know, things differently, add value, you know, and make sure that we come up with the right solution for our clients. I think that's the whole idea. You know, and this relationship with our clients is all about, you know, understanding each other's businesses, right? And I think from day one, that was the goal. Spend as much time with our clients as possible, so that we understand their businesses, where they start, you know, what kind of problems are they facing, and based on our understanding, experience and knowledge of media, how can we help them in that journey? Because if they grow, we grow. Right? So it's the whole idea is about how can we grow together, not at the expense of each other, which unfortunately was the case. So it's about, you know, working on problems together, making sure that we grow together, and I think it's a very simple philosophy, and it's working. So I mean, stay grounded, stay humble, try to do good, meaningful work, and making sure that we all grow together.
Acha, so when we, for example, talk about international agencies or content, how do you think, where are we standing right now as a country? और कितना अभी हमें कह लें time है to, you know, improve or to come at par with them maybe. Also अभी आपने तो पहले ही बताया कि you guys are in talks for an international affiliate and stuff. But इस बारे में, what is your take?
I think there's a lot of catching up that's required. I mean, we have, I think there's a lot of talent here. And there's no denying that. It's just that, you know, we need to create those opportunities for those talent, you know, to come and shine. Right? And to do that, we need to look at sort of new business models, right? I mean, if you look at the new sort of startup culture in Pakistan, it's evolving like any other developed market. I mean, look at the kind of funding that we received, you know, in the last 6-8 months, you know, well over 300 million USD. So that shows that we have the talent, we have the right mindset. There are people who want to do a lot of good work. We're working with a lot of content producers, and I think they're amazing. It's that we need to create enough opportunities for these guys to shine,
to have an outlet,
and to put across their work.
Definitely.
And for that, we need to obviously, change our mindset. People are sitting and we're calling shots, and decision makers, they have to be a little more. Unfortunately, as a nation, we're risk averse, so we need to take a lot more risk with these new kids. They're very talented. They're doing an amazing job, and I think I'm very hopeful that very soon we will be as good as anybody else in the market.
That's great. जब कह लें कि things are not going as expected, or maybe there is a hindrance or a stepping stone, तो उस phase of time में अपने आप को कैसे you keep on, keep yourself motivated? How do you keep on going?
I think it's part of the business. You win some, you lose some, highs and lows. The idea is to don't lose out on your essence, the purpose. Go back to the drawing board and try to understand, where we were stuck and what were the problems and how can we solve them as a team, right? And we've had our sets of highs and lows. When I was with Maxis, one fine day you would get to know that कि आपका एक बहुत बड़ा client चला गया है आपसे, and your billing would come down, your revenues would come down. But then obviously you come together as a team, and then you look at other opportunities. And I think there are enough out there. You develop a business plan, and then you go for it. So it's all about looking at things from a distance, making sense of things, looking for those opportunities, looking for those niches, and see how can we add value, how can we solve those problems, discuss it amongst your team members, and then go deal with it. It's part of the business.
Part of the business. Achha, and what are your hiring procedures, or generally when you are taking on board someone, and maybe like you're interviewing a young professional, तो ऐसी कोई 2-3 traits या elements जो आपको बहुत attract करते हो कि this person needs to be part of my team?
Well, I think when we set up IG Square, mostly we had experienced people on board, people who have been around, because I needed a team who was experienced and they know their trade. The initial bunch was, they were all experienced. They were in the business for the last 10-15 years. So that helped, obviously.
Definitely.
But then later on, when we started hiring, fresh grads and with less people with lesser experience, but I think it's the attitude that matters. Is he a team player or not? Right? Because we're not the biggest of the agencies in Pakistan. We can't offer them कि यार हम इतने बड़े हैं और इतनी billing है, or we don't have a fancy name yet, right? But what we can offer you is a culture, the values, the teamwork, and I think that is something that sets us apart. And yes, mashallah, we started off with one. Now we're a team of about 22 people, both in Karachi and Lahore. We've had only one casualty, but that's all right.
That's all right.
And
and what is your take of women being part of the workforce and having a professional presence? और आपके organization में क्या preference दी जाती है?
I'm a big advocate of, because in Group M we had with quite a few girls working, and I think they were amazing. In fact, our head of strategy in Maxis was a girl, and she was amazing, Zara. I believe in gender equality, and
Definitely.
I think more women should work in this industry. I've made some really good friends, and they've done an amazing job. So yes, go for it.
Welcome back to our show. अच्छा, मुझे बताएं ऐसे कोई मेजर्स या सपोर्ट जो आपको लगता है कि गवर्नमेंट को देनी चाहिए हमारी डिजिटल और ये टेक कह लें जो एक पूरी इंडस्ट्री है, in your opinion, anything that they can do or should do to elevate this industry even more?
I think it's about training, and training. I mean, government should set up an institute because at the end of the day, it's all about producing good content. I mean, we see a lot of Indian content on Netflix, but in Pakistan, obviously, I mean, I know people who are working on producing content for Netflix, but there's a lot that needs to be done. We need to obviously come to that standard, so government can definitely help setting up those institutions where young kids can come in and join and learn the trade. I think that's very, very important, and giving support to the film industry.
Definitely.
Again, very, very important. Unless government plays its part, I think it will be very, very difficult for us to compete and survive.
Very right, very right. अच्छा, आगे फ्यूचर को लेके क्या प्लान्स हैं, एक्सपेंशन के क्या प्लान्स हैं when it comes to IG Square?
This year, 2022, is going to be a big year for us in the sense that we're going for this affiliation, and I'm sure that will open up a lot of new opportunities for us.
Definitely.
So we're looking at investing a lot in digital space, content, technology. So these are the three key areas there where we are focusing a lot. And this year, we'll be hiring a lot more people. And we've recently set up our office in Karachi. Alhamdulillah, we had a good response there as well. So we're looking for good people to come and join in our Karachi office as well.
Great.
So yeah, I mean, hiring good new talent, working on content, data and technology.
Things are looking good.
Hopefully, yes. At least we are on the right track. We've had a good year, and hopefully it'll continue.
अच्छा, मुझे बताएं कि as a professional, any such decision that you always hate taking or you just don't like taking?
Letting go of people. I think that's the toughest piece. That's the toughest part.
Definitely.
Because I dread taking those conversations with our employees, because I believe that everybody gives his or her best, right? Unfortunately, at times things don't work out.
Definitely.
And then when you have to take those discussions, I think that's the toughest bit, right? And I always avoid having those discussions. But other than that,
you can always have other people do it for you now.
Yeah, I mean, mostly in my previous organization, mostly it was the HR department who used to take those conversations. But then at the end of the day, since I was heading the thing, so most of the time things used to come on my table, and I had to then take up those conversations, and it was very tough.
Acha, who has been your inspiration or role model? Professionally भी हो सकता है, personally भी हो सकता है.
Yeah, I mean, professionally, I really look up to Tahir Khan, because the way he has, he's an icon for the industry, and the way he has set up his business. I think he's done an amazing job. And whenever I get the opportunity, I go and meet him in Karachi, and we end up having those long conversations and discuss everything from the industry to whatever is happening globally. So I think Tahir Khan is one amazing guy, and I think he's contributed a lot to the industry. And then obviously, I look up to my father, who's been an inspiration for me.
अच्छा, stress को कैसे handle करते हैं? Generally, इसका आपने मुझे long term answer नहीं देना, short term. कि अगर एकदम कोई stressful situation है या you've been feeling stressed, so what do you do to break it off?
I go quiet.
Okay.
I think that's one. And then I watch movies.
Okay.
I think that's the best stress reliever.
To unwind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and what is your idea of happiness?
Yeah, I mean, spending time with family.
Balance कैसे करते हैं professional and personal life?
पिछला जो साल डेढ़ है वहाँ पे तो काफ़ी वो equation out हुई हुई है. Because it's mostly work. But yes, I mean, work-life balance is extremely important for your own sanity, to be very honest. Yeah, but I'm not been very good at it.
Okay.
Lately.
Hoping that you'll get better then.
Obviously, yeah, exactly.
And what about anger management? गुस्सा आता है, तेज आता है, या control कर लेते हैं, क्या करते हैं?
आपको मेरी team member से पूछना पड़ेगा. I don't. I mean, yes, at times. I mean, we're all humans, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we do get stressed out, and we do things which we should not. right? But मेरा गुस्सा ज़रा ज़्यादा रहता नहीं है, तो वो उसको मैं ज़रा बैलेंस कर लेता हूँ. But yes, I mean at times I do
lash out. Sahi. So are you fond of reading books, and if yes, then any particular book?
I do whenever I get time.
कोई ऐसी किताब जो आपको बहुत अच्छी लगती हो, या which has had an impact on your life or generally?
I mean, there are quite a few actually. I mean, recently I'm reading this one book, luckily just पढ़ी हुई है, this Evolution of New Markets.
Okay.
Jurowski की है. It's amazing that how you develop new markets, how new markets are formed. It's an amazing. I'm in the middle of it, and it's a though it looks very small, but it's a tough read. So yeah, currently I'm reading this.
Okay, great. And what about your favorite destination in Pakistan?
I love traveling. You know, I've traveled extensively, locally and internationally. I'm a bit of an outdoor guy. You know, the mountains, and you know, I've been all over.
Any specific spot that you really like to go back again in Pakistan? होता है हमेशा एक कोई जगह होती है जो बहुत दिल को पसंद आ जाती है.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we I think a couple of years back we went trekking up in the mountains, Mushpuri and you know Miranjani. I think that was great because we had the whole team there. I think 50 or 60 of us were there. The whole office. You know, it was amazing. I would love to do it again. Yeah.
And given that you just said that you're fond of traveling, so internationally कोई ऐसी destination which keeps calling you back?
I love Portugal.
Okay.
So there's a place close to Lisbon, Cascais. I think that was amazing. I loved it.
It's very specific, different.
We stayed in a castle, so that was
cool.
it was brilliant. Very nice. A bit laid back, but yeah, loved it. Amazing.
Achha, on a lighter note, generally, what is your take on our channel, which is Discover Pakistan, and what do you think that what sort of support the entire media should give to a channel like this, which is new and which has a different concept as opposed to what we have in the existing pool of channels?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I've been watching it, and I'm not saying it's since I'm here, but I think the content is very different, fresh, new, and I think Pakistan has so much to offer. I mean, if you look at travel and tourism, it adds a lot to your GDP.
Definitely.
Globally, it does. Pakistan, I think there's a lot of potential, and we have in Pakistan we have everything. I mean, from snow-capped mountains, glaciers, to all the 8,000ers that we have in Pakistan, to amazing, coastal line, to all the national parks that we have. I think there are about 35 of them in Pakistan, and it's great. And I think people should know what we have in this country, and I think it will definitely help, expand our knowledge of our country. It helps in, domestic, international tourism, and I think that's a great initiative.
Okay, so to sum up our conversation, अभी तक की आपकी जो journey रही है, you've had a very wholesome, long journey in this industry, and you've done quite a lot. तो उस सारी journey से अभी तक आपने क्या सीखा? Or it has taught you?
Stay true to your job. Be honest to your job. It may, and I think there are no right or wrong answers, right? I mean, there is no, as I said, there is no silver bullet. You have to keep on doing your thing, and there are no shortcuts in life.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's what I've learned.
Great. And as an ending note, I would like you to give a message or any words of wisdom to our budding young professionals, young students who are looking forward to starting their careers generally, entrepreneurs hain.
I think I once read somewhere, and I think I keep telling this to my team as well, that so there's a saying which basically goes like, adapt or die, right? I think with these changing times, we all need to evolve and adapt.
Definitely.
Otherwise, it'll be very difficult for us to survive. And I think you can evolve in so many different ways. You can upgrade your skill set. You can learn new skills. You can adapt to the new environment and see how can you add value. Unless you do that, you won't be as competitive. Right? So if you want to move ahead and and leave your mark, you need to keep on moving. Right?
Definitely.
And I think that's what it is. And I think there's so much to learn. There's so much that needs to be done. And I think the newer lot, the younger lot, I think has a lot of potential, and I think they can definitely do and achieve a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for taking your time out and sharing your experiences and your future plans, which are very promising for our industry as well. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Likewise.
Thank you. So this was our conversation with Mr. Sarwar Khan, a very refreshing and relevant conversation with the changing times. For more such conversations, keep on watching our show, Meet the CEO, only on Discover Pakistan.